So what percentage success do you estimate you've had with your clients? Is it a lot of the time you can get at least some part of it reduced, or is it rare? Or,
I've always got to get asked that question, and so I started keeping track about 2 years ago.
okay.
Right now, I'm at 70% of the cases that come in here. It's actually a little bit above 70%. I'm able to get some kind of a reduction in their DUI charge. So that includes taking high BACs where there's mandatory jail sentences, getting those knocked down. It's like second offenses to firsts, or DUIs to recklesses or not guilties. If it's simply a matter of getting rid of other charges, but they're still found guilty of the DUI as charged, I don't count that. So my record is above 70%, which I think is pretty phenomenal.
Yeah, that's very high. Definitely a majority. Would you say, and this may be hard to answer, but is it wise to take a DUI case to trial in general, or is it better to to do a plea bargain beforehand if if it's a non-aggravated set of circumstances, if it's more of a run-of-the-mill DUI?
Well, that kind of a question depends totally on the facts of the specific case. In most cases, I would say our judges do not penalize people for going to trial. However, if there's some aggravating factors involved, you could be putting your client at risk of more jail time, more serious consequences than what you might get if you pled. But if it's generally a first offense DUI with no aggravating factors, there's no reason, unless they're going to reduce it to reckless or something like that, there's no reason not to go to trial.
Okay.
Eh, you know, in I there are some cases that I don't have a defense for, but in most of the time I do have defenses one way or another. I find things that there are defensible issues involved in the case.
Okay. It's a very fair answer. Makes sense. So, what have you learned about people's behavior and their reaction to being arrested and charged with DUI? What insights have you gained into people and the whole process over the years?
Well, probably the number one thing is when they're arrested, especially a first time, they're scared. Most people are scared when blue lights go on behind them when they're driving. They're scared when they get pulled out of the vehicle and have to do these field sobriety tests. They're very nervous. Then they get put in jail for the first time ever, spending the night in jail, and they come out of it worried about the consequences it's going to have on the rest of their lives. So that's the number one thing, is people are truly scared. The second thing that I would say is that most people do not believe that they're purposely committing a crime. They
Oh,
feel that they've waited long enough and that they're okay. And there's probably two reasons, and I don't know if this probably is going beyond your question, but there are two reasons why people, responsible people, would end up with a DUI. One, they don't realize how slowly alcohol eliminates from their system. They think by waiting a couple hours they'll be okay, and that's simply not true. The second thing is that there's a thing called the Mellanby effect. Once you start drinking alcohol, you feel the effects of the alcohol on your way up. But once you're on your way down, you don't feel the effects of the alcohol. So you
oh,
could be at a 0.08 and feeling kind of intoxicated on the way up. On the way down, you may be at a 0.10, 0.08, and you feel completely fine. If you
huh.
get pulled over for speeding, tail light out, you drop your cell phone, you cross the line, next thing you know, you're arrested, you take a breath test, and you're convicted of a DUI.
Okay. I
Except
didn't know about that.
for
That's interesting.
yeah.
That's interesting. Okay. Yeah, because I've drank before. I haven't had a DUI, but I've drank and I've definitely felt that. On the way down, you feel pretty good and you think you're okay.
Yeah. Well, alcohol also impairs your judgment, so you could feel okay even when you're not. But really, people at low levels, that's another reaction which does answer your question. They're shocked that they even ended up in that situation. They did not know that they were doing anything wrong. They thought they were okay and being responsible.
Okay, okay. Huh. Well, this leads into my next question, which you may have answered, but is there a particular story that you keep hearing over and over and over from your clients? Is there, or a few different stories that you hear a lot?
Well, I think just that. Yeah, I did answer that. I hear a lot of times people saying that they thought they were okay.
Okay.
Really, we get the ones that are way up there, the high BACs, and those people just know that they screwed up. But a lot of people, probably a majority, tell me that they truly thought they were okay when they got behind the wheel.
Okay. So do you, and you alluded to this before, but I guess, do you feel that the current DUI punishments are too harsh, or are they targeted properly, and why?
I'm not sure that the punishment is too harsh. Certainly for repeat offenders, once they've been through the system, they've already gone through alcohol education programs. They should not be, getting second and third and fourth offenses. Uh, the risk out there for people's lives and so forth is real. So I think the punishment it is harsh. It is harsh, but I don't know that it's too harsh. My concern is because of the political nature of these offenses. You have decent, generally law-abiding citizens that are getting a DUI that thought that they were being responsible, and the judges are afraid. They're politically afraid to show mercy. Now,
Huh.
not all of them, but a lot of them. I had a judge tell me one time that I had a black naval officer who was, one of the best that they had. Two commanders came in. Superior officer said, "He's the best and brightest that we have." He
Right.
came from nowhere. He was didn't know his father growing up. First in his family to go to college, and he ends up getting a DUI. These guys said that this would be a career ender for him. He'd only been an officer 3 years,
Wow.
and we were asking the judge for mercy in that case. And the judge said, "I'm really sorry, but it's either your career or mine."
Wow.
That's the thing that I do not like. I feel that judges should be able to show mercy on generally law abiding citizens. They do in a lot of other aspects of criminal law. You can have people committing other types of crimes, and mercy is shown. But a lot of judges are politically afraid for their own jobs, and they will not show mercy in a DUI case, and I think that's wrong. Now, some of them still do, and,
Right.
and I commend those judges that do.
Wow. Okay. That's surprising. And that leads into the next question. I mean, what do you see as the future of DUI in terms of punishments and the whole landscape?
I'm not sure. There's been talk of technology going into cars that will monitor alcohol levels of the driver anytime the person gets in their car. That technology is available. I have heard that the Mothers Against Drunk Driving are urging Congress to pass legislation that this be part of vehicles. I don't know that that's going to happen, but if something like that happened, uh, probably the number of DUIs would go down. Maybe the punishment would become more difficult or harsher. I can tell you this, that during my 20 years, pretty much every year or every few years, they make the punishments harsher.
Right.
But the number of DUIs don't really go down, and it goes back again to the people thinking that they're okay
Mm.
when they're not, and the fact that alcohol impairs your judgment. And so, no matter what the punishments are, people are going to make mistakes. But I
Right.
will tell you this: I think that I've often told I've often told police officers, prosecutors, that hey, why not make the legal limit zero? If the state truly is concerned about uh, the safety of people on the roadways, make the legal limit zero, because people can be impaired at an oh 04. Some people that have low tolerances,
Okay.
uh, but the state is too hypocritical to ever do that. because Virginia, for example, gets billions of dollars in tax money from the sale of alcohol, and from that we sell it ourselves in Virginia state stores, but on taxes from the consumption of alcohol. Bars and restaurant owners would be going crazy if the legal limit was zero.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't want to do that. So I don't think you'll be seeing that happening in Virginia or anywhere else where they make it zero. But that way everybody would know you could not drink and drive, period.
Right.
But right now, it's still legal to drink and drive.
Okay. So what would you say makes your firm unique in providing DUI defense?
Well, two things make us unique. One is our knowledge and expertise. As you mentioned, I wrote the book for lawyers in Virginia on the science, the technological issues, the medical issues. I think there's only good handful of lawyers in Virginia that truly understand the technology and truly understand how medical issues can give you false results. That makes us unique. The second thing is that we, as an office, care about people. I care about my clients. Everybody in this office truly cares, and we receive compliments. I receive compliments about my staff all the time, about how wonderful they are, and we're not a mill. We care, and I think going back to the first thing, I feel we give people the absolute best chance that they have of getting out of a DUI charge if they go with us.